Hello, I'm Keel. This is Manny. Today we are going to work on these three, well, they call them baby rubber plant or the Peperomia Obtusifolia. I don't know. I'll put it on the screen. I'm terrible at pronouncing any of those things. All I know is if I like it or not. I like this plant, but I almost killed it. So we're going to do a little work on it, some prop and chop, put them right back into the planter. So let's get after it. By the way, if this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I really appreciate it. So let me show you what I got here. These plants look pretty healthy right at the moment. I got another camera set up, so hopefully if my technical team is working properly, you'll get a closer view of this. So anyways, as you can see, this looks pretty healthy. It's kind of floppy though, and there's not any leaves down close to the bottom on the stem. Now, I almost lost these plants. There was two of them in the summertime. I had them outside. I'm a really heavy waterer. So I'll be honest with you, I think I just watered the daylights out of them until they practically died. So I brought them inside. I put them on my kitchen counter where I have some grow lights underneath, and they came back beautifully. So I'm really, really happy about that. This guy here, if you can see, again, looks pretty healthy. However, it's so healthy that it's top heavy. Now, I haven't watered these for a few days, so they're pretty dry because there's small pots. So this one, I think I'm going to upsize the pot. And cut it and stick some back in so it's not so top heavy and the plant will get a little bushier. So that's the plan anyways. So like I said, it won't even stand up. You can see it just wants to fall over. So let's not break it. Let's let it sit there. Now, they call this a baby rubber plant. This is a rubber plant, which is these two. This is a Peperomia. This is actually in the ficus family, Ficus elastica. Yeah, that's an easy one to remember. But there's also the Ficus Audrey here. I bought this one at a discount, and because it was missing a leaf on this side. It was missing a leaf on the one side over here, but I paid very little for it. It's just been kind of hanging out. It does have this new leaf here. Just been kind of hanging out from the winter, or through the winter. It's getting almost warm enough. I'm in northeast Arkansas. It's almost warm enough to start setting the plants outside. Once the temperature, the nighttime temperature starts staying above 50 degrees, maybe a little bit higher. We'll see how long that takes. Then I'm going to start setting them outside. I guess I should mention, if you haven't been here before, watch any of my previous videos, I'm in my garage, which is / plant room. I have a 2-car garage. I transformed one half of it into a plant room. I didn't put these walls up. This is a wall here. There's another one over here. And a doorway. I didn't put them up, the previous owners did. So I had all my plants outside during the summertime, out on the front patio, some under the pecan trees in my backyard. And I was going to transition them to take them inside my house. And when I set them inside, I was like, I kind of like this. So what I ended up doing was just leaving them in the garage. I put a couple of heaters in here, went to the thrift store, bought all these little odds and ends items, and anyways, turned it into my plant room, which is where I'm filming at. Sorry, I digress. Now this is also a type of a peperomia. Poor little fella. Again, I almost killed it. I forget which one this is called. I'll look it up and put the name on there. But I almost killed this little guy. But it's coming back. It's still a little fragile, so I'm not going to do anything with it. Keep it underneath the grow lights. Keep it watered properly. Again, it's pretty dry right now. And then when it gets like these other guys, I'll transplant it. Sorry, I'm gonna have something to drink here. I should have opened this up previously. It's kind of raining outside. It's late at night, to be honest with you. It's probably, I don't know, 11 o'clock or something like that. But, you know, sometimes when you get a chance and you get in the mood, it is when you do your planty stuff. I'm going to have to put you guys on hold because I'm going to need a pair of scissors. I didn't bring any out with me unless my clippers are here. I don't see those either. All right. Oh, this little tray here. I will tell you about that real quick. I actually bought this one at Walmart for $5, I think. It's a boot tray. But it works perfect for repotting the plants on a table like I've got here. Sometimes I do it inside on the countertop in the kitchen or on the kitchen table even when I'm watching TV or what have you. So this is great for that. This is the second one I bought. Another great purpose, I put one under my kitchen sink to put all the cleaning supplies on. That one I bought at the dollar store for $3, but they didn't have any last time I was there. All right, sorry, going on a tangent. Let me get some scissors. I'll be right. All right. They were out in the next room. I'm working on my kitchen cabinet, so. All right, folks. So. Let's set this tray. Let's set these guys down so I don't knock them off of here. It's pretty warm out tonight, so I don't have the heaters going in here. Thank goodness, because that's getting kind of pricey, to be honest with you. I'm actually leaning towards, these walls are not insulated, so I may have to insulate them. Well, I will if I decide to leave this stuff out here and not take it actually inside the house with me next winter, because it was just costing me too much to heat this out here. All right, so let's get our little mat set up here, tray. In this box is my potting soil. Now it is a mixture of fresh potting soil out of the bag. I just use Miracle Grow. Since I'm a heavy water, I have started mixing in orchid bark. I bought a what do you call them? For tree branches. A grinder. What the heck do you call them? A chipper. A little electric wood chipper. I have a lot of pecan trees. Well, there's like 5 huge pecan trees in the backyard. They drop branches all the time. I had them just stacked up, but I don't want to burn them. I just don't want to put that into the air. But even though you could here. So I'm going to chip them and use them in my flower pots and use them in my flower beds, which you guys will see here before too long, because we'll be going outside and doing some stuff. Excuse me. All right. So anyways, that's a mixture of fresh potting soil, orchid bark, and remnants of old plants that didn't survive. I mean, the soil. Here's one over here. This poor guy. I don't know why I can't grow him. It's a bird's nest fern. Again, I think it's an overwater situation. So let's take this out. I know I'm kind of, yeah, see, that's just moss. It's not wet at all. But I took this out because to show you that this is also what I do with my potting soil. I keep reusing it. This has got some styrofoam in it. I did that to aerate the soil. I don't think this is completely dead. I think the soil's just too, it's like mostly cocoa core. So anyways, let's get back to where we were at with the peperomia. So I want to make this a little chunky. So anyways, that's again is my mix. That's what I do. Now if you got something that works for you, by all means keep using it. Okay, so I'm going to make this probably 20%. I don't have a recipe, but it's probably a good 20% chips or more. So it's pretty chunky. See that? So this guy, the one that keeps falling over, I decided to, since I'm going to cut some of this off and stick it back down in there, that it needed a bigger pot. So let's get it. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's chop these first. I'm going to get over into this camera. My understanding is, and I'm no expert by any means, that where you cut this one, so if you, wherever you cut it at, like right here, that the roots will actually grow out of the cut as well as any node that's under the ground. So what we're going to do, because there's a long stretch there with nothing. Let's see if I can get this. Can you see that? I'm going to cut it way down here. And then hopefully it'll force up some more leaves and give me plenty of nodes to get under the soil over here. So let's give it a chop. See that? So my understanding is it'll grow from there, and then you can actually see maybe some little, like almost like aerial roots trying to come out of the side there. So those are going to go in there. We're going to do this guy the same way. Not quite as far down, but see all that extra space I have there. There's no leaves, so I'm going to cut it just below that node, leave all those leaves, and then that'll give plenty of good stem to put on the top here. Okay, so see, now you could, and I see a lot of people do that, pluck a whole bunch of these leaves off. Well, they're saying because you don't want it giving energy to the leaves, but to the roots. Now I see that. And again, if that's what works for you, great. I'm not going to do that because I have all of these little nodes here available on both of those. So I'm not going to do that. And again, I think the leaves will help with the photosynthesis. And this is what we left on the base here. See that? So we're going to pull this out. Like I said, the stuff's pretty dry because I haven't watered it with the anticipation of doing this. It does have some nice roots on it. Pretty healthy. I'm happy with that. Looks wonderful. So, since I've had problems with these, I'm not going to mess with the roots on this very much. I'm just, a lot of times you break the roots up and and fluff them up and do what have you. This plant looks so happy. I don't want to disturb the roots. So I'm just going to set it in there like that. I'm not breaking the roots up. It's just about at pot level, the base of it. Just straighten it up. Put a little more. I use styrofoam a lot. Some people probably think that I'm crazy for doing it. I use it to aerate the soil. I use it under pots to keep them pots inside a pot. You know, I set the nursery pots inside these type of pots, and then I'll use a piece of styrofoam to keep it up off of the bottom so that plants don't get root rot. Um, and I figure it's better than throwing it in the landfill. I try to reuse what I can. You know, I'm no fanatic by any means, but where I can, I will. All right, so I think this is going to be a perfect pot for this. I really do. We might move this over to the side so it kind of, yeah. So I think I'm going to move it off to the side just a little bit and then plant these two in here so it will look kind of even instead of sticking that right down in the center. Another thing that I know I have a bad habit of doing is overpotting things. In other words, putting plants in too big of a pot right away instead of just doing a gradual upside. I've been known to go to the extreme, and it isn't good for them. You would think that it is, but it's a matter of the watering thing again. If you've got a little bitty plant in a great big pot, and you water it to where the water runs out the bottom, it's gonna stay wet probably way too long for that particular plant, and you're gonna end up with root rot. Take it for somebody that knows, because I am famous for doing that. All right. Oh yeah, this is gonna look good. Very pleased. Perfect size pot. And I try to be good about posting updates. So if you haven't followed and would like to see how these either progress or die, I'll show it either way. Just so you guys, if I make mistakes on something, so you don't make the same mistake, or if I do something that's successful, you could be successful. So anyways, if you want to, like I said, see how these things progress, please subscribe. I do have some postings up already on some updates on some previous transplants. My channel's not all that old, couple months, so I try to post at least once a week. I can't guarantee it. Sometimes maybe even more often. It depends on, just like everybody else, depends on what I have going on. But like I was a little late in between on this stretch because I've got my kitchen torn apart and working on my cabinets. But I wanted to do this because this is relaxing, de-stresses me, relaxes me, brings the blood pressure down, Then you water and you fiddle with trying to get a plant in a good lighting spot, which I've got for these. And then you just water and talk to them and watch them grow and be happy. Watch them be happy, and then that makes me happy. And I know it makes you guys happy too. That's why we all do this, I think. We all get that some sort of satisfaction out of it. a lot of aspects to this, caring for these plants. It's really not just throwing them in a pot and watching them flourish. I think some of them, I guess, are. I guess some people have that type of green thumb, but it takes care, you know. Ask this poor guy. I'm not going to make you guys watch that or have you watch that because it's already out of a pot, but I'll stick it in a new pot with some different soil and see if I can get it to come back. All right, I think that's good. Then we'll get this guy watered in, back under the grow lights. See, nice full plant now. Just a little bit bigger of a pot. If it was just the one stem, I probably wouldn't even gone to this size. But since I was cutting them and putting them back in, I think that's a perfect size. Don't you? Think that looks good? Let me know. Let me know if you guys have these plants and how successful you've been with them. Again, this one seems really happy. So I'm just going to take a peek at its roots. I don't necessarily advise you do this, but if it's root bound, I may upsize it. It's dry. Well, let's see if I got another. I think I'm going to leave it in there. What I think I'll do is just give it a little refill on the top. Leave it in there. I'm going to leave it in there just a little bit longer. Now, I think these are a type of a succulent. You could tell the leaves are really, really thick. So they could take to dry out. This soil is really dry, but in my opinion, they still look really healthy. So I'm not going to change that. Like I said, I overwatered them before till I almost killed them. So, all right. Let's go to this guy. Again, see how floppy it is? But there's a lot of room in this pot. So I'm just going to cut these off. I think I'll cut this one there, here, and I'll show you. I'll show you instead of talk about it. I'll take this wooden skewer and we'll work this soil up in this pot. Do I want to cut under that leaf? I think I'm going to cut above it. Okay, there we go. Here's that one. Hear a little thunder booming out there. Cut that one. See, again, it's my understanding of the leaves or the roots will grow from here and these nodes. And when I say my understanding, it's because a lot of these plants I'd never grown before. I've grown house plants since the early 80s, at least. But back then, I don't remember having the variety of houseplants that we do now. And maybe it's just because I just bought the typical things you'd see at the grocery store, the pothos, the spider plants, which I still love both of them, and I still have and still propagate those like crazy. The rubber trees were popular. The jade trees, which this kind of reminds me of. Jade leaves are not nearly this big, but the branch is very, very similar, the stem. Let's cut this one down to there. those were super popular back in the 80s and 90s, and I don't know, I hardly see jade plants anymore. I don't know what happened to them. They were kind of notorious though for being finicky. I remember that. Okay, so that's what I left in the pot. The pot is still plenty big for all of this, in my opinion. Well, let's see. Actually, I got more than I thought I was going to get out of that. Yeah, I think it'll be all right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to work this soil up. This one's kind of wet, actually. So I'm going to loosen the soil up using this wooden skewer. I use these all the time. Just I try to keep the soil aerated, especially the ones that are inside the house. You know, they're right in my face all the time. I mean, not literally, but you know what I mean. I see them all the time. So it's easy to just take while you're standing around having a cup of coffee or catching up on the news or contemplating your next move for the day. It's easy to take a skewer and loosen up the soil. Helps it retain water, gets air down there, which I supposedly understand, or I do understand that it helps with your plants, the aeration. I know it does the yard. Let's see, do you want to start another plant keel? You could with this other little pot. You know, we might. Let's put this big guy and this little guy, big guy, little guy, in here. And then I think I'll put these two in here. So voila, just that easy. I got myself another plant as well, another pot. You know, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want duplicates of plants. And I had that attitude for a while. Well, here's the thing. Especially if you have certain plants that you keep trying to grow and you keep killing. And you're like, okay, I was killing these poor plants and I'm wasting my money at the same time. Then, you know what? Stop it. That's my opinion. And plant what grows for you and what you enjoy and what will thrive, you know. That's me anyways. You guys plant what you want to plant. I have a bat flower. Have you ever heard of those? I have a black bat flower that I ordered online that's coming. Should be here in a couple of days, and I'll show you guys that. That kind of excites me. It is part of the yam family. Not sweet potato, yam, which I guess are two different things. And they supposedly will grow indoors pretty easily. I wonder if I should have cut that other branch off of there. I think I'm gonna make another cut on. There we go. Another cut on this plant and make it a little more bushy. Where are you at? I hope I'm not damaging these guys. Like I said, check back at least if you want to see, because I'll keep you updated. All right, let's get some more dirt in there just to kind of fill it in. And I'm going to call this one good. I have a pump-up sprayer like you use outdoors for your yard that I modified the spout on with just a piece of copper that I use to water all my plants. It's great. Oh, poor guy. Poor guy. Sorry, I'll get you back in there. Get you covered up. Um, I really like that thing. It gives you a lot of control. Plus, I have hanging plants so that I don't have to get up on a step ladder. I can reach them from standing flat on the ground. So that's a huge plus. Okay, there we go. Nice full plant. Nice full plant. Now it's not all tall and falling over anymore. And it leaves me with these two guys. Let's get a little more bark. I need to get out there the next day or two with my machine and chip some of my own bark. I'm not buying any more of it. No need to do that any longer. Okay, I think this pot will be perfect for these two. Perfecto. Look at that. Let's put it here. I have, my last count, I think I was like at 135 plants. Most of them are in this room. Now, some of them are outdoors plants that I brought indoors. I have some kind of what I think are unique. This is a Hellisonia, and I'm barely was able to keep it alive. It looks like a little bird of paradise. I do have two big bird of paradise right here, one inside. They grow well for me. I'm very happy about that. I have a banana tree. My Monstera deliciosa is going to go outside. She went crazy out there this last summer. Has all these aerial roots. They were stuck to everything. I had it on my patio. I'm going to do something I'm going to trim it up some when it goes out in the spring. But I'm going to attach it because I have some huge, like I had mentioned earlier, pecan trees in my backyard. I'm going to plant this at the base of it in the ground, let it attach, and let it go crazy. Now, I know it won't overwinter out there, but I think that growing against the tree and in the ground, in the dappled sunlight, morning sun, and dappled sunlight throughout the day, I think it'll triple in size, quite honestly. And then I'll propagate it, bring pieces inside. Some of these plants I've thought about selling. I've had neighbors come by when I have my garage door open, asking me to give them plants, quite frankly. Well, one person did, but I'm thinking, you know, I don't mind giving some plants to people. But other people, I'll sell them to. Okay, there we go. There's that one. Not quite stood up the way I'd hoped. I think I probably didn't get it in there just right. But I think when I get it under the grow light, these will stand back up again. They're not wilted, they were growing weird because they were so tall. This poor little guy. Like I said, look how fragile it looks right at the base. So I think I'm going to take and just fill this pot up and give it a little support around the trunk here, around its stem. Just some added support. I'm not going to disturb its roots though. Just some support. Stability. We all need a little stability. Okay. All right. Let's see what happens with that now. All right. So see, it's a little more stable. And then when I get it watered again, then that'll help too. All right. Oh, this little. I mean, look at all the roots on that thing. Look at all the roots on that. I don't know what happened to it though. I really don't. It just seems rotted. So, I'm just going to put some of this. This is probably too big for it. We'll find a pot for it later. I'm not going to give up on it just yet, but it don't look too promising. Okay, folks, again, thank you so much for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I'd greatly appreciate it. And remember, do what makes you happy and be kind. See you later.